Have you ever woken up and felt like a fraud? Well, in this video, we're going to be talking about overcoming imposter syndrome. Hey everybody, this is Sharon Koenig of FearlessPursuits.com and welcome to another episode of Fearless Empower Tube, where I create videos all about winning at life. So I think we can all agree that most of us have felt like a fraud from time to time in our business lives. So we feel like we're going to be found out. Someone's going to know our dirty little secret, that we're really not as good as we say we are. We're really not doing what we say we are. We're just a failure inside. So I think that this is very normal, and I think that it's something that's actually a little bit healthy from time to time, because we don't necessarily want to live our lives with a very big ego, right? To live in the ego is not a very good place to be, because it means that we can't be giving to others. We can't be authentic to ourselves. So when we feel like we're going to be found out, we're hiding a dirty little secret. So what this really means is that we don't have a very high self-esteem. So oftentimes we feel like we're trying to achieve this perfection, right? We're comparing ourselves to others. And this is something I've talked a great deal about, because it prevents us from going after our dreams. It literally prevents us from achieving our goals. So oftentimes we just feel like we can't achieve some of these things, and we feel like a fraud even though we've already had a great deal of success in what it is that we're doing. You know, standing in front of this camera was very difficult for me for a long time, actually, and I felt like a fraud because I don't necessarily feel like I'm a professional speaker, and I wondered if people would like me, and I was going to be judged and all of these things. And in my mind I'm thinking, you know, I was homeless once, who's going to take me serious? But the fact of the matter is that because I have achieved a certain amount of things, it gives me it's actually important for me to stand here in front of the camera, to share the things with you that have worked for me, that helped me get out of being homeless, that helped me achieve some of my big, scary goals. Because if I sat there in judgment of myself and went with that feeling of being a fraud, an imposter, I wouldn't be standing here in front of you. And I wouldn't be making a living online. So the bottom line is that we need to build ourselves up. We need to see our successes. So you can get a little book, a little success book, and write down all of your achievements. And you need to take a look at what you've achieved. And it's a way of building up your self-esteem. But we need to see our wins as often as we can. You see, when we are constantly comparing ourselves to others, it's a way of pushing ourselves down. And that is going to help your imposter syndrome just shine even more. And that's the thing that we want to shut down. So understanding too that we feel like an imposter when we don't feel like we're doing good enough, right? So there's that judgment again. But the best way to overcome this is to be sure that you are giving the value in what it is that you're doing. So if you were an actor, for example, and you're feeling like an imposter, you're feeling like you're not successful, but what you need to do is to do your very best and to give as much value as you possibly can. So this is something that is really important in all of the things that we do. So as I said, it's mostly in our professional life, but I homeschool, and sometimes that imposter syndrome sinks in, and I think that maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe we're not doing a good enough job. But there it is again, just constantly judging myself and comparing myself to a public school system, for example, who frankly are not really doing that great. So that's what you want to look at. You want to take a look at your successes and the things that you are doing that's working, but doing the best that you can and putting as much value into it. But another way is through love. The bottom line that we need to understand here is that you won't have the clarity in what you're doing to move forward in what you're doing with your goals and your dreams if you don't have the clarity. We can feel very stuck with this imposter syndrome, right? But how to find clarity and feel very clear in the direction that we're moving in so that we can just put the imposter syndrome aside. But it comes from love and trust. This is something that could be a little bit corny because we've talked a lot about loving ourselves, right? And a big, strong, hairy man is not going to feel very comfortable about loving himself and talking about loving himself, right? But it's so important for us to take a look at what we have done that has been good in our personal or our professional lives, because this is the way that we're going to find love for ourselves. And by doing this, you build a trust in yourself that you are doing a good job and you can see those successes, and this will give you clarity so that you can move forward in the things that you wanted to achieve. So we have to stop comparing ourselves and stop judging ourselves. But another thing that you can do is to find a support group, a mastermind community, so that you can be with people that are doing what it is that you want to do. And by doing this, this is going to help build you up because you're going to see people of all different levels in these groups, right? You can see people that are beneath you in your knowledge and people that are above you in your knowledge. And you can see how far you've come. And what this does is it builds up your self-esteem. It gives you that confidence so that you can stop judging yourself. So will you ever get rid of the imposter syndrome? It's likely that you won't. So the long and the short of it, trying to overcome the imposter syndrome is something I think that we can rein in to a degree. We can actually make ourselves feel better to achieve our goals and keep moving in that direction by doing all of these things with getting the support and by building up our self-esteem and feeling trust and getting clarity. So the bottom line is that we need to build our confidence in our professional lives, and that is the best thing that you can do to help you overcome the imposter syndrome. So what I would like for you to do in the comment section below is to tell me what it is that you are trying to overcome in the imposter syndrome. Why do you feel like a fraud? So that's all I have for you in this video. This is Sharon Koenig and I am out.